The broken bonds of democracy. An unsettled law is always a dangerous and bad law. See, the recent order by the Central Information Commission has again revealed the inherent problems surrounding the Electoral Bond Scheme of 2018. See, what is the order passed by the Central Information Commission on this issue? The order passed in an appeal against the State Bank of India has effectively shut the door to seek any details about the donors. That is, an RTA has been filed to the SBI that regarding the donors of the electoral bonds. But the Central Information Commission of the RTA has responded and gave an order that no information regarding the donors of the electoral bond schemes should be revealed, and there is an exemption clause like Section 8 Clause 2 that directs that public interest outweighs any harm. Only when the public interest outweighs any harm to the protected interest, the information sought for may be accessed. So using this non-substant clause, the Central Information Commission has erroneously gave an order regarding the no details regarding the donors will be kept out from the with the help of the RTA Act. So many opposition parties and also the activists, social activists are confirming that this is an illegal scheme of electoral bonds. Actually, it has been the electoral bond scheme has been bought in a view to get the transparency in a fair funding of elections, electoral candidates. But the transparency has become an opaque in this case. So this scheme creates a banking. What does this scheme actually means? The electoral bonds. Basically, this scheme creates banking instruments for donation of funds to the political parties facilitated by SBI. This conceals the identity of the donors and the donors as well as the amount of the donation as well. In the effect, the scheme is not transparent but promoted arbitrariness. So hence they produced arbitrariness in the scheme, and hence it is null and void, and it must be illegal. So basically, I think in 2003, People's Union versus Civil Liberties versus People Union for Civil Liberties versus Union of India 2003 case, the Supreme Court held that freedom of speech and expression also contained the fundamental right of a voter to secure the information about the candidates who are contesting the elections. When the voter is permitted to know if an electoral candidate is facing any cases, should she or he should not be equally entitled to know who is financing the expenses of the party or its candidate. But the CIC order has upheld the contention of the SBI that they will not publish the information of the donors with respect to the electoral bond is concerned. So such a law is very it is very illegal, and also when coming to the constitutionality of the such law, it is null and void. It should be null and void, the protesters and the social activists are saying. So the public interest litigations are filed in the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court can be the final saver or pathfinder to this issue of electoral bonds. But the PILs filed by many petitioners are still pending await. Nearly 3 years has been taken the time by the Supreme Court, but still a decision has been not given by the Supreme Court. Both the Association for Democratic Reforms and Communist Party of India Marxist are the petitioners filed regarding the electoral bonds in the Supreme Court of India, but still the Election Commission as well as the Supreme Court of India did not respond to this since 3 years of filing the petitions. So in this context, we will see about the disadvantages and the benefits of the electoral bonds in the current system, and why the electoral bonds has been introduced in the system. So coming to the benefits of the electoral bonds, it is actually in the aim of bringing the substantial transparency in the political donations against the present system of contributions in the election funding mechanism. The electoral bond scheme has been bought. How much funding comes, what kind of funding it is, the source of funding, and where it will be spent will be known clearly, and also non-disclosure of recipients will ensure people are free to donate to any political party of their choice. Will reinforce the idea of moving away from cash system towards clean money, which check system could not achieve. 15 days between the buying and selling will ensure that they don't turn into a parallel economy. So these are the benefits that has been kept in mind in bringing the electoral bonds. But after the electoral bonds has brought into place, it has been turned away. The benefits have been turned away into many disadvantages. So let us also look at the disadvantages and also the what are the other things related to the electoral bonds. So before knowing about the electoral bonds, let us look at how an electoral bond works. See, first, notified banks are chosen by the government or the election commission. It will be notified. The notified bank issues the electoral bonds. The donor buys an electoral bond using a check or a digital payment. The donor then gives the party of his or her choice the bond within the specified time frame. The party deposits the bond in an account, the details of which are shared with the Electoral Commission. So this is how an electoral bond functions. So this is how it has been the process, and also what are the arguments against the electoral bonds. See, first, no information on which the party receives funding from which company will be revealed, and that is when a buyer from any corporation, when any corporate they take from the bank electoral bonds and they sell it to their buyers, that is they give it to their political parties. And also what are the arguments is that no cap on net profit, siphon for the black money, that is net profit if they are given as an electoral bonds, there is no cap for that. And also no tracking of sale of bonds, siphon for again the black money, that is there is no tracking of the bonds from where they are bought, from which hands they are being changing. The public does not know, but only the bank and the finance ministry knows. So where is the transparency in this? That is only ruling party knows who donated, that is only ruling party knows who donated and who are funding. And intimidation of a buyer by the ruling party for the bonds. This leads to the ruling party intimidating or forcing the corporates to give their funds. Amendment in the Representation of People's Act. No single donation level data has to be shared by the party. Amendment in Income Tax Act. Party does not need to file the IT returns. So anonymity in political fund is still exists. So these are the arguments against the electoral bonds. Thank you.